Time for the presentation of prizes. Is that all right with everyone? Just before I do present the prizes, I do want to just say one thing. A few years ago, it was being discussed about Brighton and Seacliff running this titles. Tony Gold, our Commodore, came up to me and said he'd be more than welcome to do it. And I've got to say, just as a member of the Brighton and Seacliff Yacht Club, the way they've run this regatta has made me personally very proud to be a member of this club. So I actually thank you very much. So I'm not going to stuff around with lots of speeches, we're just going to go straight into it. We're going to read out the results of the scratch boats. Now no one's going to believe this, but Peter V, congratulations, you're number one. Peter, I think, has impressed us all this weekend. He's shown us how to really sail these boats really well. And you want to say a few words, Peter? You're usually not that shy. Don't run away from me. Get your trophy, yeah. That's it. Photo opportunity, Daniel.
I'm on it.
For those of you who don't know, Peter today wore a GoPro on his head for the whole race, and there's not too many classes, I think, that you find the national champion sticking on a GoPro on his head on an actual heat of a national title. And to do stuff like that, he really shows that he's actually got the class at heart, and he's prepared to share his skills and his knowledge with everybody, and I think that's a real tribute to this class and to Peter.
If you watch that, prepare to be bored. I'm going to do Academy Award style this year. I'd like to thank Adelaide itself for putting on such dry weather for us that I didn't roast in my tent at night, although it did completely dry and crack out my lips and my kids. I'd like to thank Bryce and Amanda for making me lose 9 kilos. That's awesome, because I feel a heap healthier for it. But more seriously, Team V this year grew in a big, big way. And for starters, without my wife, there's no way I'd be here today. And I've got to say a huge thank you to her, because her job this week with both the kids, without a lot of my support, because most people notice that once I start sailing, I don't notice anything else, or anybody else, including my own kids apparently. So I've got to say a huge thank you to my wife, because without Kylie, this wouldn't happen. And then I've also now got Mel and Angela coming along, and it's just been great, because Mel comes with all this gear that helps me patch things back together and everything, and the support. I'm not used to having a trolley dolly. No one heard that, hopefully, including your dad. So that's awesome. I had a look at the trophy today, because I couldn't quite work it out, but now with Dim it's 11 national titles with 6.2 crews, and most people seem to think there's some massive secret to being at the front of the fleet, and there's not. If you want to ask someone what it takes to be at the front of the fleet, you need to ask her. I've had a lot more limited time this year, and the effort that Dim's put in has just been huge with what time I have had between the kids and Kylie, and it's just pure and simple hard work. What you see on the DVDs I found funny, because some kid apparently walked up to Dim and goes, "That's not how you do it," even though I'd been spending week after week after week going, "That's not how you do it, this is how you do it." So it's great that other people are watching the DVD, and Dim can actually tell you that that's exactly what I do, and we just keep working out and working out and working out. So I say thank you to Kylie, thank you to the Redmonds, thank you to Dim, and thanks to everyone that was actually here, because that was, I love racing down here. My first ever national steering were here, and I remember being in 5th place up until the last heat when Steve Jones beat me into 5th and I jumped to 6th. He won't forget that either. But that was my first ever boat was right here, and it's just fantastic to be back and actually win one here. So thank you very, 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 very much. Do you want to say something?
Just a huge thank you to Pete. If I didn't have him, I wouldn't be sailing anymore. Same to my parents. It was Dad who threw me in a boat at 10 years old, screaming and kicking. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sailing at all. Oh, come on, I hold on to the hiking straps for the whole race. I don't want to be there. But huge thank you.
She did that yesterday.
That was for different reasons. Just huge thank you to Pete for teaching me so much stuff. I've learned a lot in the last almost year. And to my parents for bringing me down here. I'm very grateful. Thank you. And thank you to Brighton Seacliff. It's been awesome.
Okay, and it's no secret also that second place has gone to Tempest, Bryce Edwards and Amanda Stern. And they've done a great job. Bryce, not here?
No, Bryce.
Yeah. Tell her.
Sorry, mate, before you go.
You'll know.
I definitely know why Bryce and Amanda were the national champions last year, because they showed it again.
Thank you. We know why you were the national champions this year. Bryce would like to send his apologies. He is currently on a plane back to Sydney and off to Wanji to do the MG Nationals tomorrow. My legs hurt enough already. I don't know about his. Good effort. I just want to thank Brighton Seacliff Yacht Club, all of the volunteers, the start boat, the race committee who helped out today and across the whole regatta. It's been an amazingly well-run regatta. The weather has been perfect. They've set beautiful courses for us. We couldn't have asked for anything better. I'd like to thank my sailing sponsor, Bryce, for paying for the boat. He's so much fun to sail with. I mean, every regatta we learn something new, and I think this one, more than ever, we've really learned how to communicate with each other, and that's such a vital thing on the boat, knowing how to talk to each other, rouse each other up at the right moment, but keep each other calm and focused when the swell gets up. Thank you to friends and family who came along. We had a huge support crew on shore, which was amazing. Always fun to come back to smiling faces and high fives and have someone help you out with the dolly. It makes a really big difference. In particular, Michael and Desley, who came down, and Eddie and Bob and Tammy and all of the wonderful people that helped out. And thanks for so many wonderful competitors. You really kept us on our toes. We had a blast this year. I can't wait to start getting ready for next year. We're so keen, so keen. I'll give my bruises a few weeks to heal though. We'll be back. See you later this year.
Thank you, Amanda. Now, third place is an interesting boat. These guys have been staying with my house for the last week, and I've got to know them pretty well. Try to fish out all their secrets, but they're pretty devious. Third place goes to Devil in the Detail, Chris Corwell and Steve Jones. I think Chris is a bit shy, I'm sure, but I'm sure he will say a few words, and you've noticed that Steve is not that shy at all.
First of all, I'd like to thank my fantastic crew who decided to come on board with me about a month ago. He's pushed me around the course so well this week, I can't imagine I would be standing here without him. So, great thanks to Steve. I'd like to congratulate Peter and Dimity and Bryce and Amanda. Well sailed. We couldn't catch us. You just took way too quick. So thank you, and thank you to our landlord this week for his food and his accommodation. It's fantastic for him to put us up for the week. So thank you very much.
Well done, guys. quick thing, and I might get a chance. No, it's just a quick thing, and maybe someone might do it again. This guy, I sit there all week, and this guy, he comes home, he washes his boat down, he gets out all the stuff, he uploads all the stuff, he sorts it all out, puts it in, and then it's got to upload for an hour or two, and it takes forever. And then he goes out, he comes back, and he does it again. I don't know, 11:30, 12 o'clock, most nights, finishing.
And he cooks for us too.
And he cooks. Actually, if you're looking for a regatta place, it's just up the road. It's a good deal. It's a real good deal. Heaps of dark and stormy you get looked after. But I just want to make sure that everybody here appreciates how much Adrian does do, because it does go unnoticed.
Okay, next we've got is the handicap results. Got a bit of a local flavour to this one. The winner of the handicap prize for the Nationals this year is Without a Trace, Dave Gordon and my son Daniel.
I have to say something. Okay, well, first and foremost, I have to thank my crew. Dan and I have only got together this year at reasonably late notice, and we're just getting our act together, I think, and we certainly improved a lot during the regatta. So I'd like to thank Dan very much for teaming up with me this year. I want to also acknowledge Adrian, because he probably won't acknowledge himself, but Adrian has been the chair of the local organising committee and has driven us all in various ways to do things. But perhaps, so I'd specifically like to thank Adrian, but also the whole local organising committee as well on your behalf. I'd also like to really thank the people who've come from interstate, and the success of this series is completely dependent on people making the trek from New South Wales and Tasmania, and if that doesn't happen, then the national series just doesn't exist. So I'd really like to thank everyone who's come from interstate that's made the series successful. So thanks very much. So there's one other person I should think. There's John Clifton, who helped us a lot with our sales and gave us a lot of rigging tips during the week, which proved very helpful for us too.
And second on handicap was me. And Chris Rivette, who's been my crew, she only joined me 3 weeks before the Nationals, and it's been a very steep learning curve for Chris, but it's been fantastic sailing with you, I've got to say. So thank you very much.
Look, I'd just like to thank everyone who's come here for this great regatta, all the interstate competitors. It's been a really good fleet. I'd really like to thank the race organising committee, and also the rescue boats and the rubber duckies when we've been ditched, and they've been so close by, and I think all the team have done a fabulous job, so thanks. And thank you to Adrian. He's really probably the politest skipper I've ever sailed with. So thank you, Adrian.
Yeah, I'm just rude when I get offshore, okay? I'm very polite on a boat.
To her, maybe.
Right, third on handicap. Now these guys impressed me all weekend actually. Shake and Bake, Brian Jenkinson and Linda Jenkinson.
I want to thank my crew, Linda, my wife. She put in a big effort, sort of stretched it beyond the limits, and she did really well. I had a fantastic time. It was a great regatta, friendly people, brilliant water, well organised club. Couldn't fault anything. We had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Okay, the next award we've got is the #1 female skipper, the female national champion, and for the second year in a row, I believe, Catherine Davis. Been fast asleep with her brother Matthew Davis is free. You got a big prize there, Catherine.
Yeah, Matthew, you can hold this. Hold it. Be a good crew. I think it's actually the third year in a row. I'd like to see. I would like to see some more female skippers out there. I'm probably preaching to the wrong crowd here, given that there's so many men skipping. But what I was saying to Isabel, who's one of the other Tasmanian crews, I was saying to her she should kick her skipper out of the boat and start skippering, because I was 15 when I started. So. And yeah, we had some really awesome racing. It seemed that no matter where we were in the fleet, we were with Neil in After Midnight and with David Gordon in Without a Trace, no matter where we were. So we had some awesome racing with them. And just as everyone else said, it's been a great venue and had some awesome racing out there. Really like to thank Matthew, who was an excellent crew. And yeah, puts up with me when I get grumpy out there because everything's gone wrong. But mostly we had a couple of really good races and yeah, very pleased with everything in the end. So thanks everyone for coming along and making it such a great regatta. And see you all next year, hopefully.
Okay, the next award we've got is for the family crew. And this award goes to our national president, Ross Hanson and Annika in Don't Panic. I'm sure Ross, being our national president, won't be short of a word.
Thank you very much. As you all know, I hate talking. But I'd like to thank my sponsors, Panadol, Nurofen and Tui's. You've helped me get through the series. I forgot about the bourbon until tonight. I forgot Tasmania, what got me through. As you all know, Annika's a heavyweight. Pretty impressed. I was hoping to come here for some light to medium wind, and I got a bit of that. And yesterday was good, wasn't it? There's a photo there that I like. There's a spray going over our faces. It was good. And right at the back there, I wish there was more cameras because it was quite hairy. And obviously all the organisers I'd like to thank, but the boats that we were sailing with the whole time, fast asleep in 10th I think, and 9th Without a Trace. Us in 8th, and Ian Horn, who I think we should have beaten them, but some countback rule, I don't know how that works. We're easy all over them. And California Times in 4th, we had a good race for them. And Arctic, we didn't see much of them, but they got 5th, and 6th was Summer. Who was that? Who was that? Oh, yeah, that one. And they deserve 6, probably a bit better. So thanks a lot, everyone. And Annika, you're a champ.
The next prize we've got is for the Jack and Jill, and that goes to a really nice looking boat, I've got to say, California Times, Chris Eddies and Rebecca Wiley.
Most people already thanked everyone. I'd just like to say another quick thank you to Brighton and Seacliff. You couldn't fault the racing that we had over the last few days, and the hospitality has been amazing. There's not too many places that you can go that have such a community atmosphere that the local guy will walk through the boats and just have a chat with you and introduce themselves and give you tips about the water. So it's really good just to come to a club where everyone's helping each other. So just a big thank you to you guys, and just a big thank you to all the competitors. Like there was moments where we were throughout the fleet, and no matter where you were, there was stiff competition, and everyone staying the hardest to do their best. And I don't think there's too many classes where you can have that throughout the entire fleet. So it was fantastic sailing with all of you, and hope to see you again next year.
Now the next result is for veteran skipper. Now this guy I met quite a few years ago, and he's always been impressive, and he's probably, I reckon, one of the biggest improvers in the fleet, I've got to say. But the winner of the veteran fleet is Greg Rousel from Arctic from Tasmania. Greg's crew is Eli Cameron.
Just in case there's any confusion, I'm the veteran skipper. This is Eli. Look, as Tasmanian President, I'd just like to reiterate what everyone else has said, and a big thank you on behalf of all the Tasmanian boats to Adrian and the crew from your association, Adrian, with all the organisation. As you know, I know what it's like from last year. It's a big effort, and in particular Brighton Seacliff again. Just the club atmosphere has been fantastic. So thanks again. On a personal note, I'd like to thank Eli's parents for providing crew. If your name is Cameron, you're from Tasmania. We've got quite a few boats covered, so thanks for bringing Eli along. And thank you to my wife as well for putting up with me plenty of times. And in particular, thanks to Eli. We started sailing about October, I think, Eli. A few club events and one regatta. And this guy is a champ. He's improved every race and right up there. So thanks a lot, mate. Cheers.
The next prize we've got is for husband and wife team. Now this has actually got quite a few competitors going for this, which is a good thing to see. The winner of this is Spinifex, Peter and Karen Davis.
I'd like to thank my wife. Karen and I started sailing a long time ago together, and we stopped when we had the children, but as you already noticed, they started together. So I'm back sailing with Karen. She did a brilliant job. I have to say this is our 4th regatta at Adelaide. We love coming to Adelaide for the reasons everyone's described. It's a fantastic venue, the sailing's great, the class is great. And this year we were waiting for the big wind day, and then we found ourselves running downwind in 25 knots with no forestay. Very hard to de-rig from that position. So I'd like to thank the guys on the tractor, because that's our first tractor ride in Adelaide. We hope we don't do that again. But we had a wonderful series, and I really enjoyed actually having a convoy. We came across with the other Tasmanians, so to have, I think, 6 Tasmanian boats here is really nice, because often it's just us. So great to see all the New South Wales people, and we look forward to the next regatta. Thanks very much.
Yeah, I've got to say it's a really impressive effort that the Tasmanians keep supporting the Nationals every year, and it is a much more difficult task for them to get to these Nationals each year. It's an expensive little boat ride they've got to take. But anyway, well done you guys. The next one is the heavyweight prize. Now these guys were giving us curry a fair bit of the time during the series, so it was good. After Midnight, Neil Murphy and Jeremy Smith.
I don't think Neil's here at the moment. I think he's picking up his wife from the airport, which is good. It's a great sail. Thank you to Brighton Seacliff, and thanks Adrian for everything. I'd like to thank pretty much everyone that was involved with this regatta. It was great. So yeah, thanks. Well done.
The next prize is for the veteran boat, and there won't be too many surprises here. It's been won by Magic and Loss, Barry McIndoe and Magnus McIndoe. Yeah, Barry McIndoe. It's good to see a couple of the older boats still sailing in these titles, and they've actually do pretty well. So well done, guys.
Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, we really enjoy sailing our older boat, and we need to get more of them out there.
so we've got someone to race against. But I really reiterate what everyone else has said, and particular thanks to Peter V, because he does walk around, he does give you tips, he doesn't keep it all to himself, and that's one of the really good things about this class. And I've really enjoyed sailing with Magnus. He's come a long way. He sailed with me last year at Port Dalrymple and supplied the blow, and he's improved this year, and he's a lot keener and a lot smiler when a lot more bigger smiles when he comes in. But one of the things that I find is there's not too many sports you can do, and you can compete at a national level and sail with your family, or do it with your family. You can't do it in football, you can't do it in soccer, but it's really good to be able to compete and bond with your kids. So that's what I really appreciate about the class.
Okay, just before we sort of wrap up here, there are a few other things that we do need to mention. There's a lot of volunteers that have gone into actually running this Nationals, and I particularly felt really, really sorry for the committee boat yesterday. Did you see them in that boat, anchored? Did you see the boat going up and down and up and down? I'd rather be where I was in a boat that's moving than where those guys were, and that's a real credit to the fact that these guys have actually volunteered to support this series, and when you get that sort of kind of dedication, it's pretty impressive. Fortunately, we haven't got prizes for or things for every one of these guys, but there's some particular volunteers that have actually gone above and beyond the call of duty to make these national series happen, and we do want to present a NS14 shirt, which I hope they will wear proudly. The first one's going to go to Tanya Van Riel. Tanya's has managed the regatta office, all regatta, and also she's been involved in all of our planning meetings right from the day one, and she's been always very welcome, very happy to do anything we ask of her, and it's been fantastic. Thank you very much, Tanya. The next one is, these two have been very, very involved with the club, and they almost live here, I think. But I'm going to have to, we want to give an NS14 t-shirt to Bruce Noble and his wife Judith. Sister, sorry, sister. Let's get that right.
And look, it was a privilege to do that for-year group. A great group of people. Hopefully we covered every aspect of what we were supposed to do, and it gets a bit tricky at times when there are stormy weather and keeping an eye on people from the bridge and from the boats and the mark laying and all the rest of it. But it was a privilege to offer you such an opportunity. So thank you.
Now, as all good sailors know, that you really need to, if you actually want to succeed, you've got to know how to bribe the officer of the day. 2 officers of the day have been fantastic for us this regatta, and we're going to offer some sparkling Shiraz to Tony Gold and Steve Bunky. It's a long way, yeah. Steve Bunky, I don't think is here tonight, but he was the officer of the day for the last part of the regatta, and Tony did the first half. Tony's also the Commodore of our club.
I'd just like to say it was a pleasure having you all here. She's always around, playing the band or... Oh, there she is again. Do you want to say anything? Did you like it? We've been living next door, and it's been great being around the club and around all you guys. We've had all sorts of weather, and it's very funny. Everyone's laughing over here. Just pretend she's not there. It's easier. And look, I'd love to have you all back again. It's been good. I've been interviewed on the camera twice. Once, which I thought I did well at, and then he said it was no good. You have to do it again. I said, go away. But no, it's been really good, and I'd love to see you all again, and all the best.